All right, Austin Cindric is in the house. Man, it's been too long since we've talked last. How you been?
Yeah, it's been great, man. Obviously, been fun on track, but miss everyone at the racetrack. It's been good to get the season back going, and obviously, in a good way.
I mean, you've had a very successful weekend this past weekend at Kentucky. Are you a busy guy this week?
I mean, I'm busier than normal, but it's definitely a good kind of busy. I've tried to set a little bit of time to for myself, but overall, just getting ready for Texas. I got to try and do the same thing. A long road ahead, but yeah, great to be able to talk about a race weekend, and obviously winning races is what we show up to try and do, and try and continue to duplicate that.
Had done something that no one has done before: win two races in 2 consecutive days at the exact same racetrack in the same series. I mean, that's a pretty big deal. After the race, both races, did your phone flood up with text messages, people congratulating you? Like, how many text messages do you get on average after a big win like that?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's obviously great to feel the support of a lot of people, and it's got to be over 100 text messages. I mean, it took me over 2 hours both days to go through the text, which is funny because you get a text from somebody on the first night, and then that same person will text you again the next night, just because it's not an easy thing to do to win both races, but obviously with a really fast F1 Tools Ford Mustang, we're able to get it done. But yeah, you get to hear from a lot of great people, and um, uh, people like Jimmy Johnson and Joey Logano and guys like that who have a lot of respect for, and cheering us on, and to be able to congratulate us is pretty cool for me.
I've heard you say you guys feel like you should have already had 4 or 5 at this point in the season. You got 2, which is great. So what can we expect now further down the road from you guys?
Hopefully more of the same. That was obviously a great display of speed, and I felt like we had a great opportunity to do the same thing at Pocono, and just got caught in a wreck on when we were on the right strategy there at the end of the race. And with Atlanta and Vegas and Fontana and a lot of these other tracks where we've had similar speed, just not been able to capitalize on the day, whether if it was something out of our control, or what have you. So I'm glad that it was all able to come together, but not also that, but coming together on 2 days, be able to execute 2 great races. And that's what it takes to be a championship caliber team. And for us, we have to be able to do that every week, week in and week out. And that's where it counts.
Yeah, you guys have proven the speed to be a championship contender team this year, and everyone's kind of talking about Chase Briscoe. I know you two are pretty close, and the two main Fords in this Xfinity Series. What's the rivalry like with him?
Well, I'm not sure we've gotten far enough down that road. I got 3 more wins to catch up to him. So hopefully we can hold him to that. But no, it's been great to be able to race with Chase, and he and I have obviously grown up together in the NASCAR ranks. So to be able to have some success, see him succeed, and him being excited when I succeed is a really fun relationship. Hopefully we can carry that all the way to Phoenix, and continue that. But obviously that's a great group, great organization, and they bring great stuff to the racetrack. So we got to be on our game to be able to compete with that. But it's been fun to do it.
It's been interesting for me to watch which teams have done well since NASCAR returned earlier this year, and I can't help but think, how much does having no practice impact that? What are your thoughts? Because every driver seems to have mixed reviews on having no practice. Where do you stand on just lining up and rolling?
I mean, I love it. I've always loved single car qualifying for the same reason. You have to wake up and be perfect from the word go, and I feel like that's played to my strengths in some ways, but that only lasts for about the first stage of the race, and then you've got what you have. Everyone's figuring out where the track is and how to make the cars better, so you have to continue to improve. But I think it plays into our hands as far as our team, just the way we've gone about our program, being able to prepare week in and week out. I think a lot of people had changed their preparation process, but for us, it's really just turned into Zoom meetings instead of
Hmm.
in-person meetings. But overall, I'm really proud of the way my team's handled it. I think it's been exceptional, the amount of races we've shown up at and been really close off the truck, and a great improvement from the beginning of the year in that regard. So hopefully we can keep moving forward. I think it's now the expectation. So we gotta keep going. But really proud of my team.
Yeah, everyone's expectation in this series is to win every single week. And with no practice, you kind of have to figure out what you have in the race. I heard you mention earlier in the week about being proactive instead of reactive, whether that's going one groove higher than the rest of the field or some different change on a pit stop. How important is it to be proactive instead of reactive?
Yeah, I mean, I think you said it great. You know, that's what makes this sport challenging. That's what makes NASCAR more challenging, I think, than most other race series, is because there's so many differences that you can do as a driver, something small or large, that can affect what happens throughout your day. Whether if it's the feedback you give to your crew chief, or the change you do, or the line you decide to drive, or when you get back on the gas or use the brake pedal, all of those things can add up really quick. And when you add all these factors of tire wear and rubber being laid down on the racetrack, that's what makes a great NASCAR driver, in my opinion. Or that's where I've improved so much since I came into NASCAR racing. So it's fun to do that because you have to take some calculated risks to understand where is fast and how to be fast and how to be prepared to make the next step to be ahead of the ball.
You have to take calculated risks as a driver, but then your crew chief also has to take calculated risks based on what you tell him. Obviously, you mentioned that you're not in the shop as much. It's all done over Zoom. How's the team communication now?
I think it's great. I think it's been one of the strengths of our program and our group. You know, between me, Brian, and my engineer Matt, I think we've done a really great job this year of staying connected with one another and being very vocal and very open about starting setups and where we're starting relative to where we would have raced a track the last time, or showing up to a racetrack with a completely brand new setup and trying to unload close with it. And I think those guys trust me enough now to know that I'm going to give them truthful feedback and not bias anything the way I want it to be, and vice versa. I feel like, he gives me great feedback and I give them great feedback as far as where to be at realistically. So I think that's been a strength, and it's helped me be able to have enough notes in the notebook to build on, and then create the next iteration of that setup, or trying to make ourselves better.
I keep looking at all the trophies and cool stuff in the background you got there. Where are you right now?
So I'm. It's not a home office. I have a little shop. I got a shop floor, and it's where I work on my project car. But this is pretty much where I've lived. In front of me is all of my laundry. This is the only section of screen that's actually a clean room. But otherwise, I mean, I've got my driving clothes laying out in here. I got helmets everywhere. But this is where I've been spending all my time. I do all my team meetings in here. I do all my phone calls. I mean, pretty much spend my entire day here. It's almost like I work, but I don't necessarily consider being a race car driver work. So, but yeah, I've spent a lot of time in this chair doing Zoom meetings and phone calls and team meetings. So it's a regular place nowadays.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It looks all clean here in the background, but you look the other way, it's kind of a disaster. You mentioned you were working on some cars. What cars are you working on?
So I've got a project car I've been working on for the last year and a half. It's the Volvo station wagon,
Ooh.
putting the Mustang 5-liter Coyote in it. The Mustang motor is mounted. I mean, it's what makes this car what it is. Otherwise, it's just a grocery getter. So, been working on a lot of different suspension stuff for the rear suspension. I've been making a jig to get my rear end housing the way I want it to be, and hopefully it'll be on the road before the end of the year. It's been a lot of fun to work on that and have my buddies come over and help me out. But I've been trying to do most of it by myself. So I've learned a lot, watched a lot of YouTube videos on a lot of different things, and it's been a fun process.
Really, YouTube, like to work on cars, you can do that.
Oh yeah, I mean it's amazed me how much you can look up on YouTube, how to whatever, how to take off the steering arm, or how to do this or how to do that, whether if it's for working on cars or not. There's a how-to video for everything, and that's been my go-to for a lot of late nights, and then you feel stupid when it works and you spent 4 hours trying to do it the other way.
Yeah, and then all your recommended videos are going to be car related in YouTube.
Oh, I'm far gone in that department. It's every day I get a suggested how to do this, how to do that. This is my car. All the suggested videos come up every day.
And a Mustang engine in that. That's gonna be pretty powerful.
I mean, it's only 5 or 6 times more power than what it came with stock. So it's gonna surprise some people. It's definitely gonna be a sleeper. I mean, I'll have big brakes, big tires, big suspension on it. But it still looks like a boxy station wagon that your grandma would have drove. So It's been fun. It looks weird. It's definitely something nobody else ever asked for, and that's why I like it.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah, only 5 or 6 times the strength. But obviously, yeah, you're a big car guy. When you're done with this project, what's next on the list?
Well, I've actually been working on that in between calls today. The new Ford Bronco has come out, and I have caved. I have put in my reservation, so that comes out spring in 2021. So that's the next project. So apparently, I like boxy cars. But if you guys have seen that, I mean, they got the 7-speed manual. I mean, I can't stand driving an automatic, so that kind of sealed the deal for me with the manual transmission. So I'm already looking at things that I want to upgrade for it and what's available and how can I make it faster and meaner and even cooler than it already is.
I was gonna ask about the Ford Bronco because I saw you tweeted about it. Did you get the one like with you can take the doors off and the whole deal?
I mean, I didn't get the sport. I'm going for the 2-door traditional look. So it's gonna be right. I'm now just trying to figure out what can I do to make it my own. Whether if it's exhaust that comes out of the hood or something stupid like that. It's that's where my head's at now. I'm really focused.
I love it. That's awesome. Well, I can't wait to see this current project be done, and then when the new Ford Bronco comes out, I can't wait to see what you can do with that. Austin, man, thank you so much for taking the time. It was great catching up with you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.